Today we're going to talk about which is better, an O-Coil or a spiral. Now, I do like both of them. However, I do have a strong preference for one over the other. So let's talk about which one you should make when making your first planner or just making planners in general. I'm Lisa from Pretty Fabulous, and I help online businesses create beautiful digital downloads using Adobe InDesign. So if this sounds like you or something you might be interested in, make sure to hit the subscribe button below. I post new videos every Monday and Thursday, and I do unboxings on Saturday. So the biggest question if you're going to make physical planners is, well, first, probably the biggest question is, should I make printables? Should I make physical planners? Should I make digital planners for the iPad? And that's in another video. I will leave a link to that below. But if you've decided I am definitely going to make physical planners and I want them to be spirals, let's talk today because there are two main types of spirals. The first is an O-Coil. So if you've never heard of an O-Coil is basically, like it sounds, it's the letter O, and they are single coils. They're not connected in any way. The other type of coil is a spiral coil, which is typically what you'd see with a Mead notebook, right? It's a coil, it's one continuous loop all the way from the top to the bottom, and they usually have a little like niche or knot or notch is what I meant, not niche, so that the pages can't just fly off, which has happened probably to anyone who's ever used a spiral notebook. And then there's another type of notebook, which is like a hidden spiral, so you can only see part of it on the back. It has a cover around it, but it is, in fact, an O-Coil inside of it. So let's talk about which one is the best one for you. Now, if you are just starting out, I always recommend Vervante because they can do print on demand and they can do spirals print on demand. They cannot, under any circumstances, do an O-Coil on demand. O-Coil is more expensive looking, and it is more expensive to make, so it requires more effort. So the thing is, if you are just starting out, I would definitely recommend a spiral. It doesn't really matter if it's metal or plastic. It should just kind of fit whatever look and feel and style you have going on for your particular planner. Obviously metal usually looks a little higher end, but it also depends on how thick your metal is, right? The thinner metal is usually for shorter books. So the other thing you have to think about too is how many pages are you going to have? So if you don't have a lot of pages in your planner, or if you just don't have a lot of pages, you probably want to go with the spiral. The O-Coil is meant for, I would say, at least 170 pages, if not more. And again, it does depend on how thick your paper is as well as your tab dividers. But if you have a very thin planner with O-Coils, it's gonna look weird. So definitely go with the spiral instead. Now, the next consideration is if you're gonna go with an O-Coil, then should you get a traditional O-Coil or should you get one that's kind of hidden like this? Now, I honestly think this is just personal preference. However, the biggest consideration is that this O-Coil here will probably never get, I shouldn't say never, but has a lower likelihood of being damaged, being bent, especially for people like me who just throw their planners into a bag with like a laptop, a water bottle, a jacket, right? There's a ton of stuff going on. It gets in the seat. My friend gets in the car. She sits on the bag, right? The coils get bent. And so if that's a consideration, this having the binding would have protected it, but this all by itself probably would have gotten bent and ruined. So, if you're making something for someone who is active or on the go or just going to be tossing this thing around and it's really hard to tell. I don't really think there is a customer archetype, because even if you say, oh, I'm just going to make this planner for moms, and then you're assuming moms are going to throw this in the diaper bag, that's not always true, So some moms may be like very careful and keep all of their stuff pristine and totally separate in a business bag, and have a regular 9-to-5 and have a nanny or drop their kid off at daycare. And so I don't know that there's an archetype. I think it's how you market your planner, whether it's sturdy or not sturdy and can withstand stuff. And plus, there's personal preference. Like, I love this thing where there is a cover on it, but other people hate it. So, it's like I always say, I think the last and the most important consideration is really, what do you prefer? What is the look and feel of the planner that you're going for? And what would you love to have in your own planner? Because that should really dictate how you design an O-Coil versus a spiral as your design. And, you know, if there's a really important, I guess the last consideration, the other consideration is there a really important aesthetic? Like everything has to be rose gold, and they have these great rose gold O-Coils, but they don't have the rose gold and spiral. I'm just making this up, like with a particular printer that you go to. And so maybe that determines it as well. So like I always say, design the planner of your dreams and then make some modifications if you need to with the planner or with the printer, or find a printer locally if that's like your limiting factor, and then just find out what they have available. So I hope that helped. I really do believe, though, if you were looking, like if you said, Lisa, what do you recommend? I 100% recommend this version. So I know the lights are really bright, but this is the Whitney English planner, not the Day Designer. This is the one that Whitney English started on her own. I really like the fact that there is a hardcover, because you get hardcover people, but then there's a spiral inside of here, so the pages will lay flat versus a hardback where they don't necessarily do that. So that would be my top recommendation if you just ask me personally what I prefer and what I would recommend. But again, you should make the planner of your dreams. All right. If you would like to create your own planner, make sure to sign up for my free course, Planner 101. I will leave a link to that below. I hope everyone's having a fabulous day, and I will talk to you guys next week. No, I'll talk to you guys on Saturday. All right. Bye.